I stopped worrying about what people think a long time ago. If you worry about what people think or how people are going to perceive you and all that stuff,
Yeah,
you already lost. You already lost. All
that's
you
a
can do is
fact.
be yourself. Just be yourself, be consistent. And if you're wrong, admit you're wrong and keep it moving. You know?
That's it. That's it. And Mike does that. He follows that. Yeah, he's just, they could say whatever they want to say, but the dude's been the same from day one. You know what I mean? So
He's been out there. This is what I give him respect. For instance, always bring it up. It's an aspect of his situation that traumatized him, but we talked about this and we laughed about it. How many of us here will get up on the screen and admit that a tranny went down on us? I know I ain't gonna fucking say that.
Hell no. Shit.
But I could respect the fact that it was a experience in life that traumatized him, and he had to deal with it. He had to go through therapy, but at least he's secure enough in his own skin to come out and admit that. Well, the majority of the ones, even the ones that won't lie, won't admit that. There's a lot of stuff that we keep inside ourselves, that situations that ain't for everybody, But I always could respect that, and I always
well,
had that
I,
respect.
I don't know if it's because I'm jaded to shit, bro. I've seen a lot, bro. I've seen bodies dropped in front of me. I've been through a lot in life. And when he said that, I heard it. I was like, that fucking guy just saying a fucking tranny blew him and it was an accident, right? So it registered to me and I go, fuck, that's shitty. But I kept it pushing. Me personally, the individual I am, I trip out if somebody's harping on shit day after this. Like, bro, get over it. The fucking guy, it was a mistake. It happened, and that's that. What's the fucking big deal? I mean, to me, it's like fuck a bit. I mean, that is a huge mistake. But to keep harping on it, other people, it's like, you're more concerned about it than I think dude's concerned about it.
Exactly.
That's the crazy part to me.
But I can always respect the honesty. Again, it goes back
100%.
to that, And as far as the words, we've all said stuff in angst when we're angry, and it gets to a point. It depends. Like right now, I understood his situation. Your channel came down, whether because it was a mistake by you or whatever the reason
Mhm.
it was pulled down. I can understand the anger. So this is where he came from, and it just got heightened when FBS did the show
Yeah,
mocking his channel coming down. That would set anybody off.
of course.
If that happened to FBS would have been doing the same thing. And I knew when Mike said what he said, like my issue was when he brought up the wife, and I knew that
Yeah,
FBS was going to respond because I know how he is. It's just
yeah,
that simple. I knew he would respond the same way, but I also know for a fact that if these two would say, you know what, let's go at each other all day and let's go. You don't like me, I don't like you. That'll never change. But let's leave the
the
women
women and children out.
I'm sure both could agree to take that step and then go at each other every goddamn day. That's fine. Just
Yep.
don't make it the norm. There should be no reason. There's enough material on both. Guys don't have to do that, and that's the thing. There's enough material on everybody here. If they've been in this community long enough, where you don't necessarily have to involve the family, you can just go at them on stuff they've said and done through the history of this.
Bro, there's a book. There's a book available for you know what I mean. But I know Mike. You know what I mean. I talked to Mike, and I know the guy, and I have no doubt in my mind at some point the guy's gonna apologize because I know him. He's gonna go, hey, you know what? Think about it. That was fucked up what I said, and make an apology. He's always like that. Some guys won't do that shit, but it takes a bigger man to admit, hey, I was wrong, and I apologize. I'm sure at some point he will,
Oh yeah, I absolutely
if he
agree.
already hasn't.
If he hasn't already, he eventually will. And I can
Mhm.
speak for this because I've seen FBS do the same thing. I've seen FBS say, you know what, this is between us. We can leave it between us, and we don't involve family and kids, and we just do it. And that's how it should be. Two grown men just going at each other. That's it. That's
If
what
that's
I
what they feel
want.
like. Yep.
That's what I
Me
want.
personally, hey, like you said, man, some of these dudes love that shit, right? They love drama. They love talking shit. That's their fucking thing. They get off on that shit, right? Me personally, the dude I am, I don't want to. I'm over it within a day or two. You know what I mean? But like I said, everybody's different. And me, I don't want to be bothered with chicken shit. But like I said, it gives us something to watch first off, and just some dudes are just really, really about that shit. Hey, if that's what you do. Do your fucking thing.
It's like when we started. And I'll bring it back up because there's some that didn't witness it. There was a point in us where we actually were fighting. The No Fly Zone. We were going at it with Tony Soflo. We did a video and I addressed FBS in it, and I knew that he would respond to it, and he did, and he came at us. But it was nothing to that point where it was as excessive as it was family, kids being doxxed. It was none of that. It was just grown men going at each other, and that was cool. And what happened? It became real simple, and that's what needs to be used a lot more.
Yep.
You don't talk about me, I don't talk about you. And
Yep.
we've maintained that, but you have some that they can't. They'll say it. So if you're gonna say something about somebody, you gotta expect them to respond.
Flat back. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. It's just.
But Nelson just said it. He just said it. He said at some point it's gonna go beyond YouTube.
Yep.
You know, at some point it's gonna happen.
Oh, it's inevitable. I'm just surprised it's taking that, and I'm not.
Me too.
I hope it never gets to that point, but I'm just surprised it hadn't happened because we've seen it happen in other communities,
Yep.
and it shouldn't get that way. But what it is that, again, YouTube gives you the platform to voice your opinion, and anybody can be anything and say whatever they feel on here, because you'd be surprised how many people feel secure in the safety of being behind a monitor, behind an avatar and a keyboard. But what they tend to forget is that there's a real world outside, and it might not have happened all this time, but there might be that one day where somebody decides to approach you. Who knows what's going on in their life, and they hit that peak where they've said enough is enough. And they want to make an example. We see it all the time. These kids go into schools and they do all of this stuff. Why? Because they've come to the realization that their life is over. So they say, well, at least I'll be talked about when I'm gone. Let me go do something really, really destructive and despicable so that it's talked about. And it eventually will happen. But it also needs to happen because it's far too much invested with these people that run their mouth and that hide behind avatars. Like, I never had an issue with it before, and we're using avatars now, but most of us, our faces are out here. But you have these ones, and I always go back to Chicago. Chicago Muscle was a prime example of why you cannot put too much faith in these cowards. And I will say it again, and I will never change. These cowards that stay behind avatars. They talk about people. They make their lives to be this. They're so much better than everybody, but yet they don't even have the nuts. They don't. Primo, that's right. When Primo's showing up, that's right. We see your face, my brother. We've done this before. There are some that have shown them, but the majority of ones that don't, and that's their thing, and they want to protect that anonymity. I don't, and I'll say it, and I'll say it again. When it comes to coward content creators who live behind avatars that run their mouth and talk about other people's lifestyles, I don't care if you get doxxed. I have more respect for somebody who's going to show their face, who's going to be vocal instead of hiding behind an avatar. Why are you hiding? It's because you're scared of something. So yeah, you have no legs to stand on when you run your mouth. And all these people that support these content creators that live behind these avatars, that talk all this junk, I have no sympathy for them. And I'll bring it over and over again. The maggot is a prime example of why you don't put too much faith in these coward content creators that live behind avatars and make up these stories.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's fucking crazy. What that guy with that.
When the stories are made up, that's the bad part, bro. You know what I'm saying? They just
off
the mouth, bro. It's like us. They said we were bums. You know, we not working motherfucker. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit.
We don't have jobs. We're on YouTube 24 hours a day and stuff like that. And it's like, no, I live in my own house. Am I rich? No, but I'm good. My job allows me the option that I can play on YouTube all day. I'm sorry if yours doesn't. Mine does. So you're gonna sacrifice. You're gonna fault me because I'm able to play on this bad boy. This is entertainment for me. I enjoy this. I enjoy interacting with the chat, mingling, busting balls. That's what we need a lot more of, the busting the balls and the busting the chops. You know, that's where it should have stood. You know, because we were doing that fun. Lefty does it. We go to Lefty's and we'll sit up there all fucking night. And people can say what they want about Lefty. Lefty's my guy. Well, I don't look at none of his faults. I deal with Lefty, and we have a good time, we laugh, we bust balls, we joke. The chat does it. Then that's fun. That's busting balls. You know.
Yeah, it's great when handstand comes on.
Oh, forget it. You have some
Oh,
characters that
bro.
you're gonna have fun, and that's the thing as well. If you're gonna be on YouTube, whether you're a subscriber or content creator, and you're gonna be vocal, and you're gonna be out there in chats, or you're gonna support a certain content creator, expect the backlash. It's gonna come. It comes with the territory.